Having a purpose in life may decrease your risk of dying early. People who didn't have a strong life purpose, which was defined as a self-organizing life aim that stimulates goals, were more likely to die than those who did. People without a strong life purpose, more than twice as likely to die compared to those who had one.
Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche, we're on the run, this is what we waited for.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So glad that you can join us here today. Why do I keep saying us? There is no us, it's me. I do all the writing, I do all the filming, all the editing, all of it. I am a one-man band. Anyway, this week I am in town for most of the week. I have a bunch of meetings. I'm taking my daughter to school a couple of times. I know that sounds boring to most people, but I never get a chance to do it, so I'm excited to take her to school where she ends up singing in the car the whole time. And then at the end of the week, I'm headed to Dallas where I'm speaking to 1,300 educators about what's happening in education, about the digitalization that we're all facing, and the skills that our students need. I'm also going to talk to them about this idea of purpose. And that's what I want to talk about this week. I wrote an article for the ASU magazine Thrive. This magazine went out to 500,000 people. The article I wrote is a question that I get quoted on all the time, which is, what problem do you want to solve? This is a question that we should be asking ourselves, we should be asking our students, we should be asking young people. Doesn't matter how old you are. The whole point of the article is that I believe we're asking people the wrong question. We are still today in 2020 asking people, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I believe that question doesn't make sense anymore. The world is changing way too rapidly. Jobs are constantly shifting and changing. Machines and digitalization are continuously taking over very specific job functions. And asking somebody what they want to be when you grow up is an old world question. I don't even like the idea of college and career ready. What's a career?
Here's the definition of career: an occupation undertaken for a significant period of a person's life and with opportunities for progress.
What? Taking on a career for a significant amount of time? Sure, that might make sense in some professions like being a doctor or being a lawyer, but for the majority of the work that we do, it doesn't make sense. You're gonna have 10, 20 different careers throughout your life. The question that we should be asking students and young people and even old dinosaurs like me is, what problem do you want to solve? By the way, it doesn't have to be a social problem. It doesn't have to be solving world hunger. Or it doesn't have to be saving the ocean.
Imagination.
It could be anything you're passionate about. Making better lights, making better cameras, making better phones, making cars go faster. Anything. If you watch Shark Tank, every single person who walks into that tank is solving a problem. Many times they're solving a problem that you didn't even know you had. Apparently your life depends on it. I've been looking into a bunch of research on this idea between life expectancy and purpose, and the results are insane. People without a strong life purpose were more than twice as likely to die compared to those who had one. This association between a low level of purpose in life and death remained true despite how rich or poor participants were, and regardless of gender, race, or education level. The researchers also found that the association to be so powerful that having a life purpose appeared to be more important for decreasing risk of death than drinking, smoking, or exercise. The need for meaning and purpose is number one. It's the deepest driver of well-being. One of the researchers wrote a research paper for the Journal of Psychosomatic Medicine. I can't wait till they come out with their summer bikini issue. A significant association was observed between having a higher purpose in life and reduced mortality. This is your life. Part one of the question that I always ask is, what problem do you want to solve? What I want to talk about in this video is part two. How do you want to solve it? That's just as important as asking yourself what problem you want to solve, because there is a billion ways to solve a problem. How can you take your talents, your gifts, your skills, and solve the problem that you're passionate about? If you tell somebody, I want to solve climate change, They might be inclined to say to you, you need to be a researcher, you need to be a scientist, you need to go study STEM, you need to get a master's degree, a PhD. Sure, that might be one way to solve that problem. But what if you're a talented videographer or a talented photographer, and that's where your skills are? The way you can solve climate change is by going out and documenting climate change or creating educational programs about climate change. Millions of ways to solve a problem, so it matters how you want to solve it. So how do you know what you're good at? How do you know what skills you have? How do you know what strengths you have? All right, I'll be back, guys. So the first place you got to start is inside your head. You can't go into this with a negative attitude. I can't tell you how many people I meet who are just negative. So, what problem you want to solve? I don't know. What are you passionate about? Nothing. What are you good at? Nothing. What do people say you're good at? Nothing. You got to be positive. You got to go in believing that you are talented in something, that you have too much gum in my mouth. That you have talents, that you have skills. What you're trying to do is uncover what those are, but you have to start with this idea that you have them. Taking the dogs for an afternoon walk. Now that you're going about this in a positive way, there's a bunch of questions that you can ask yourself. A bunch of questions that will help you determine, well, who the hell are you? For example, what do you enjoy doing? And I don't know, nothing, are not good answers. Do you like writing? Do you like reading? Do you like taking pictures? Do you like creating videos? What gets your creative juices flowing? Bye, I'll see you later. So I've been traveling Azella's whole life. She's never complains, never says anything, never says I miss you, never says, she's like, no, told, get it, you gotta go. Every single time. Has never said anything negative about my travel, except for one time. And that was last year when I missed Father celebration that they have at her preschool. For a year, she's been like, hey, remember the time you missed the celebration? Hey, remember when you completely disappointed me and missed the school celebration thing?
The last time you couldn't.
I know. And you were upset about that, huh? This year, I'm headed to Dallas on a late flight tonight so that I don't miss this Father Day celebration thing. Because I just can't deal with her wrath anymore.
I'm focused. I've been watching for the omens.
All right, bye. We're headed to Dallas.
So welcome to the fire. I'm the one with the lighter. Flame that burning through your veins is what
Just headed to the Dallas area.
is getting higher. So welcome to the fire. Welcome to the fire.
All right, headed to this event in Fort Worth. Very much looking forward to this. Got some new things to say.
So welcome to the
Hi. I took three different routes the wrong way. All schools have like 17 entrances.
final battle of the chosen.
Sure.
You tell, you get the bet.
Trying to get a head
You
start.
tell, you get the bet.
All right. It's too bad that there's not 1,000 people in here that could help us take that
Right.
My brother from Phoenix. How are you, man? Good to see you.
picture. To see you. We're doing.
The YouTube channel.
Oh, awesome.
Love it, love it.
I want to come back out. We'll do an interview.
Okay, great.
All right, so finished my event here in Fort Worth. Okay, so another thing that you can do to figure out what you're good at is to ask the people who know you best. Ask your partner, ask your best friends, or think about what it is that they ask you to do. What do they count on you for? What are the things that they look for you to do? And you'll find some nuggets of skills and talents in those conversations and in that reflection. Another thing that you can do is to think about what would you do if you had all the time in the world to do it? What would you spend your time on? What would you spend your energy on? And also, it's really important to think about what you hate doing. I hate doing expense reports. Oh my God, hiccups. I got the hiccups. How come you never get hiccups on stage? Can you imagine being on stage and all of a sudden you're speaking and I don't think I've ever had hiccups on a stage. Why is that? It just proves that it's all in your head. No matter what it is, it's in your head. And another thing that you can do is do an assessment, right? There's a bunch of them online, whether it's Myers-Briggs, and I'm an NTRFP, I don't remember what I am, or whether it's some other assessment. I used the Indigo assessment. I'll put a link to the organization in the description. This is an organization I work with, and one of the reasons why I work with them is because they work in education. They work with students and teachers and leaders in education, and it does a really good assessment of who the people are, who the students are, what makes them tick, what are their skills, how do they work together. We use this at the Coding Academy with the students there. And my wife Jennifer said that out of all the assessments she's ever seen me complete, and I've done many of them, this one was the most accurate one. For example, Jaime will most strongly express the following behaviors. Remarkably independent, extremely informal, not interested in the details, willing to take risks, strong at gaining agreement, driven, competitive, and independent. Right? These are things that describe me. So you take all that information, you take the things that your friends say, the things that your coworkers say, the things that you personally sit down and write or are interested in, you do an assessment, you put all that together, and now you can start drawing a better picture of who you are and what makes you tick.
Your walls, you got your armor, I see your flaws.
Once you do all those things, when you put all that together, there's one more set of questions that you have to be able to answer. How hard are you willing to work on developing your skills, on those talents? Having skills, having talents isn't enough. You have to work on it. You have to sacrifice. You have to put the effort and the time in. Are you willing to do that? That's probably the most important question you have to answer. So, what problem you want to solve, and then how do you want to solve that problem? Hopefully that helps. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, and I will see you in the next video. I'm headed back.
Bigger they are, harder they fall.
Passion. Oh my God, this is so annoying.